Hey guys, Freeze again. Just wanted to drop a video about the Dark Zone. We're getting pretty close to launch now, and there's a few things that I haven't heard many people talk about, so I thought I'd do a video on it and see if it can inform you guys a little bit more. If you already know this stuff, I'm sorry, but hey, we just got to cover everything in a Dark Zone video. If you're interested in my videos, chuck a subscribe or a like down. I'm bringing out as much content as I can on the Division now, and we've got Ghost Recon Wildlands heading up, some more videos in the future as well. So, the Dark Zone, the PvP area, or so people keep on telling us it is. However, the PvP zone is not so much PvP. It can be if you want it to be, but not always PvP. It is still a very heavy PvE area, and you have the option to go into other human control agents, but you do not have to, and you probably shouldn't, because if you work together, you can get more loot quicker. So that's the common misunderstanding with the Dark Zone. It's not a PvP area, even though everyone calls it that, even though I refer to it as PvP when I'm talking to other people. The Dark Zone is just a riskier PvE area where you need to get your stuff out before other people take it. Okay, the second thing that's happening with the Dark Zone is it's got brackets. So what are brackets? Brackets are the instances that you're chucked into when you go into the Dark Zone, and it's based on your level. So if you are level 6, you'll go in with people that are level 4 to 7. Let's say that's an example. So if that's what we're doing in the beta. If you're then level 16, you go in with people from 15 to 19, no matter what. That's the other players that will be in the Dark Zone will be all around that level. So you can either be at the bottom end of the bracket, the middle, or the top end of the bracket. The question I do get asked a lot is, why would you go in there if you're in the bottom end of the bracket when you're only going to get trolled by the people at the top end of the bracket? Well, there's two things that cover this question, guys. There is the Dark Zones themselves, the different areas, which we'll go into a little bit, which forces people to go further up to the north of the Dark Zone to get the better loot and the better rewards. But this is a lot more risky, so you need to be a higher level to get up there and better gear. So that for those new people at the lower end of the level will hang around the lower zones till they build themselves up, while those higher level players will start heading up towards the further end to try and get themselves some better gear before they go up a bracket. The other reason is you cannot level up your PvE rank in the Dark Zone. It has its own special leveling, and that is the Dark Zone level, and that is used so you can use better weapons and better gear that you get out of the Dark Zone. The only way to use those weapons and gear is through your Dark Zone level. However, you do not level up your overall character's level inside the Dark Zone, so you need to head out back into the normal PvE area and level up your character. So therefore, if you're at the higher end of the bracket, maybe you're going to be outside trying to level up to go up to the next level bracket. If you're at the lower end of the bracket, maybe you're outside. So it's really hard to say at this stage, but I really don't think, if whatever area of the bracket you're at, may as well just jump in there and have a crack at it. Why not? And that first part we'll go back to now. There is 6 zones in the Dark Zone, DZ01 through to DZ06. In the IGN first video, which is a video that was so informative, it's linked in the description below. Go watch it before you go in there. It explains exactly how these Dark Zones work. The developer went in and he was level 16 at the time. When he went into DZ01, his character was matched up against PvE characters, so NPCs that were of level 14 through 16. So NPCs that were slightly lower than his level or around about his level. When he went up to DZ02, all of a sudden the enemies that he faced were a lot more yellow bars and a lot more elites, but they were also levels around his and a little bit higher. Once he pushed up to DZ03, then it started getting tough. A lot more yellow bars, a lot more elites, and you guessed it, higher level characters. So NPCs that were roughly around the 20 mark, which is starting to push his limits. When he finally got to DZ04, he pushed his way through there. He came up against one purple bar character. He was unknown level because it came up with the little red skull in a triangle, which meant he was at least 5 levels higher than the character. He tried to kill him, but no, he got one-shotted, or basically one-shotted towards the end of the video, and that was the end of it. So what do we tell from this? Pretty much that as you go up, the enemies are going to get tougher. They're going to be leveled higher than you, and you're going to want to go in squads to push up further towards DZ06 to get the better loot. He did mention that you do get more XP and you do get more cash the further you go up and you kill the better NPCs. So there's definitely the reward there, and there's definitely the risk there. I love it and I can't wait. If it is the way that it's going to go, once we get up to a sufficient level and sufficient skill, we'll be offering tours to the DZ05, DZ06. Happy to take people up there whenever they need to. Just subscribe or go join arm.com.au to stay further in contact with that. So this Dark Zone system that they've got with the different levels and different zones is why I think that Dark Zone won't be like it was in beta, where you basically got rogue people going against normal people all the time, because a lot of the people with higher levels and higher and better squads will start pushing up to get that better loot. So they're all going to be about getting up to the far end. So those solo players that want to go in there, they can go in there, DZ01, DZ02, they will be fine. They'll have some characters to kill, some NPCs to kill around their area or around their level, and a little bit below, a little bit above, get themselves some nice gear, some nice cash, be able to grind out some stuff to get them up to the better. Meanwhile, the squads that are really having fun, they'll be going up to DZ04, DZ05 and DZ06 to get the really good stuff. Keeping them separated naturally, which will be a good system. As we know, all this is untested, so I can't wait for next week to find out exactly what happens when we finally enter the Dark Zone. Okay, a couple more things. People have thought that the Dark Zone was the only place to get the high-end gear. It's been confirmed. No, it's not the case. You can actually get the best gear in the game through PvE, or especially exciting, you can craft some of the best gear in the game. They are not forcing you into this Dark Zone to do endgame and find endgame stuff. You can perfectly stay away from the Dark Zone as long as you want and still get the high-end gear and enjoy yourself. That was an extra little bit of joy we got out of today. So other than that, the only last thing I'd like to comment on is the quote that we got out of a developer a while back that was stating world bosses or something similar. They were timed, specific calendar timed events in the Dark Zone, which I'm speculating here, but I think it could be something along the lines of the Guild Wars 2 mechanic, where in Guild Wars 2 a dragon will spawn once every 4 hours, and it will be in a window of about a half-hour period, and it'll be a certain spot on the map, and you need to go there and wait for it and kill it, and it'll be a chance to get some really good loot. Now this also is where I speculate that the multiple characters might come in, because if you can do this like Guild Wars, you could only loot that chest at the end of that boss once every 24 hours. Therefore, if you've got 4 characters, you can go in and loot that chest 4 times in a day. Ah, I see. That could work. So what's this really mean? So there will be fairly high-end bosses that will roam the Dark Zone, that will only be in certain places at certain areas to keep people on their toes and keep people interested and trying to hunt. So when these bosses finally spawn, this is where 24 people in an instance could come in very handy. All of a sudden, Dark Zone chat box goes off, we've got boss in DZ06, come get him, and all of a sudden there's 24 people working together. However, I reckon that could be a very tense extraction at the end of that. Cannot wait to see. Anyway guys, that's my deep dive into the Dark Zone. I hope you enjoyed it. For more stuff, keep it locked here on Freege's YouTube channel. I should be twitching soon, so keep an eye out for that. Follow me on Twitter at Freege, FREEGE1. And that is about it. Subscribe, like, jump over to Armed, all that good stuff, and we'll catch you again soon. Freege out.